All right, family, welcome to our zone training. Probably going to be a multiple part series. So this part guy is going to introduce zones, going to, really break them down in detail, create some together. And then what I want to do is continue to follow up with some videos, kind of breaking down, walking through some zones that, we end up creating throughout the weeks, whenever it may be, and kind of just continue to break them down, how they unfolded, et cetera, et cetera. So going to introduce the concept of zones tonight, family, and then we'll keep building upon it. So let's get rid of that. Let's clear this up and let's talk about it. Here we go. So zones, guys, right? Something that, I don't want to say I created, but something I do on my charts, which, helps me filter out noise, really play off the right key levels, and distinguish big levels from, little bullshit levels. I see a lot of people's charts at first, they have, a shit ton of trend lines, it'll be a cross, there'll be another one here, like a downward trend line. There'll be resistance everywhere, right? Little key levels, you're grabbing every single wick. And then when it comes time to execute, team, you don't really know, what's what am I playing off of? Is this level important, et cetera, et cetera. So, I started there. I started with, bullshit key levels everywhere. And I came to the point where I finally started to create zones, which again, just help you play off better levels, stay out of, nonsense, and really, play where you should be playing. There's a time and place to play stocks, guys. When they chop, we know that's not the time. And when they break key levels, which we build zones upon, that's when we can take action. And for these zones, guys, you can apply them however you'd like. You can sell when they, break them. You can sell puts below them. You can play OTM. You can scalp them. Whatever it may be, you'll be able to apply it to your game. So let's talk a little bit about, what levels work, what I use, etc. So the main things you can use, guys, to kind of create zones, one thing I really like are daily wicks, right? Daily wicks. Daily wicks, guys, are very important. And when I say wicks, I'm talking about the highs and the lows of each day, whatever stock it might be. Wicks, guys, I personally like because it's the last price point, right? It's the exact price that it stopped, right? 2174, guys, that's a major key level. Price ran all the way to it, stopped exactly at it, and then never went lower. So, some people use the open, some people use the close of candles, where I really get obsessed with the wick because that's telling me the most. That's telling me, that's where the tape drew the line. That's where sellers, buyers, etc. step the fuck up. So wicks, guys, are, which you'll see, we'll keep building. Wicks are really, really important. I use daily wicks. Sometimes I use open and close levels, really not too much. And then, guys, I use our moving averages, right? So we got the 200 MA, we got the 50 MA, we got the 15 MA, and then we also have the 21 EMA, which you'll see, but we can build zones off of all of those key levels. As you guys know, it's part of our system to either retrace to these, break through them, support them, whatever it may be. We can get a lot of good key levels as well as daily wicks with these moving averages. Other tools, guys, that we have in our system that you can build zones off of are, clouds, any time frame, bigger the better. And then, shit like point of control, guys. Point of control being one of the best. So between, big daily wicks, guys, you can also use intraday levels, which we'll cover, right? They're kind of fill-in levels for me. The main levels I like to focus on, guys, are daily charts because daily charts really set the tone, right? I'm a breakout trader. I'm a breakdown trader. I try to stay out of the little bullshit. When you go intraday, guys, it's so easy to add, so many little key levels. And so I really focus on the daily time frame to kind of set the standard, if that makes sense. And like I teach, guys, money goes back and forth to liquidity. It's as simple as that. Supply and demand, right? There's supply zones, there's demand zones. Money travels back and forth until, new levels and new levels of liquidity are warranted or created. So the way I build these zones, guys, and we'll get to it in a second here, but essentially it's the mindset behind it is, if this, what should it do, right? That's all trading is. If this, then that. If this, then that. So a big thing with building these zones, guys, is I ask myself, what's next? Big picture, what's next? And this helps you kind of get out of the little, again, 20-cent levels that are so easy to add on a chart. I ask myself, if it breaks this major level, right, it should bring buyers, etc. Where should it technically go to? And again, these are all built off big levels of liquidity, guys. Big daily wicks. Those are huge, huge levels created. Our moving averages are big levels that are respected. The clouds, and obviously our point of control, a massive liquidity level. So that's kind of the thinking, guys, behind the zones. These are kind of all the levels I use, and let's go build some. Michael, do I use any other time frame wicks? So not really, bro. I pretty much focus on the daily, and then from there I fill in as needed. But most of the bigger key zones are all created from daily wicks. So to start, guys, right, we want to apply logic with our zones as well as technicals. So first things first, we'll just start with the market here. We got the market. We want to ask ourselves, right, always, what's next, right? What's next? So upcoming, guys, right, we want to think like big money. What's next, guys, right? We got to go break this wick. This is a key level, right? This is as far as we went, as high as we went before we dumped crazy, right? We've struggled to make it back up. We still haven't tested it, slowly worked there this week and still haven't, right? After hours, guys, are breaking that wick now. And I'm sure, you've noticed that wick. We've had this key zone all week. So this key zone, guys, was built, just from this key wick here, right? So we can just back test that one real quick before we build a new one. Right, we had come up and created this wick. So now we have those two, kind of inflection points, guys, where we got stopped exactly at, 31.56.25. If we can break there, we should start to work our ass up to that 3188. Right, so we had this zone, and again, just to create the actual zone itself, it's just price levels in rectangles, guys, right? Nothing too crazy. Just visually, gives you the path that you should take. So we've had this zone all week, guys, right? We worked our way up towards it, started to fail. We worked our way up towards it, rejected. And then finally, guys, started to crack into it, work our way halfway there, and kind of failed, right? We've been dealing with this all week. Weren't quite ready. And now we're finally breaking a team. So now we got to ask ourselves, okay, what's next, right? Big picture. I'm a big picture trader. I don't give a fuck about, anything in here. Like, oh, we bounce, we break here, we can go here. I don't care about that. I let the big picture, guys, create the map. Big picture moves, big picture movement. That's how I like to play it. So clear this up, guys, right? Our next key zone here, again, is going to be that key wick. And then I ask myself, where can we go? Obviously, guys, up here. It's pretty simple. We bottomed. We ran straight until we hit this key wick, right? We hit that wick, we hit it again, and then we fell over, right? Big dump. So now, guys, we finally worked our way back, et cetera, giving us our next key zone, right? Here's how zones are created. So again, we're just going to create this. Right, you can edit this, guys, in Thinkorswim, plug in the exact prices. Right, you can extend it a bit, make it look pretty. So it covers everything. So that's our key zone this week, team. So technically, right, if we continue to hold 3188, we should continue our way up to our next big key level, big area of liquidity, big supply where they dumped it, 32.31. What I like to do, team, is when I make, those two big zones, right, the two big wicks, whatever it may be, I like to kind of find a filler level, something where, it's kind of halfway, it has a good significance. So just a quick glance here. Again, you always want to look back in time, obviously. There's nothing coming. We got to look back to see where the levels are. So if we break here, guys, we got some good spots right here, right? We closed here, we opened here and dumped. We got a nice wick here. So you can really take any of them, team. It doesn't really matter. We can take that close, we can take that wick, we can take that open. I personally like wicks, so the fact that it's closest, I mark it. What I like to do, guys, as you've seen on my charts, is I make some dashed, and those are pretty much just the less important key levels that are kind of, midway points. So now we have our key zone, guys, with a midpoint. So we come and introduce to look at it. And again, so here's what we're expecting tomorrow. Given ATR, right, from 4 o'clock here. We're expecting to at least run about, 67 points, guys. So we can easily, clear our zone. So again, tomorrow, can we hold our 31885? Can we work towards 3210? We should see that, guys, and that should be our accelerator to that next big wick. So now that we have one key zone, we got to ask ourselves, what's coming next here? All right, so we quickly look back. If we break here, guys, this should be a big inflection point. Because again, what is it? It's where we bottomed off of, and that's exactly where we stopped. So that's a really big key level. And again, guys, here's another big key level. That's where we truly dumped, and we've yet to retest it. So that's kind of the context you also want to apply to things is like, all right, guys, this is a big ass sell. So technically, if we wipe through that and continue to wipe through this, we're going to see a big move. There's a lot of liquidity here. These are key levels. I don't care about anything else in between. These are the major inflection points where if we break here, this is the next major level. And usually, guys, stocks go from the next major point to the next major point. So that's how we get this first key zone. And then we're going to ask ourselves, if we explode through here, where can we go next, right? What's the next big key level? All right, and again, guys, to me, it's usually always wicks. Right? I've had so much success just playing off these fucking wicks. I know it seems like, magic sometimes how zones unfold, but a lot of them are just built off fucking wicks. It's simple as that. So, all right, guys, we got a nice little wick coming here that we can mark. If you want, you can round up, team, call it 3260, but it's good to be precise sometimes. We have a big key level coming above now, right? 3312. We have the all-time high above. We gap down, and that's pretty much where this entire sell-off started. So again, the context, guys, what's the context behind that 3312? It's huge. It's huge. It pretty much started our sell-off. So we want to know that, right? We want to know that's a big level. And let me ask in the chat, guys, what do you think we can zone that with, right? What's the next biggest key level if we break through there? Someone throw it in the chat. Right? Gap's not bad. Gap's little. So we can mark it. We got a fat zone above, guys, with all-time high. Killer. Right, so we can start to, carve for this zone where if we break here, guys, we should start to head towards all-time high. Yes, we do have a little gap fill. It's not too big, so I'm not too concerned with it. We get a nice fat wick up here. I'm gonna grab that for now. All right, so it's gonna throw some shit in here, guys, and then we'll go look at it. All right, team, so let's see. We got our zone here. We got our next key wick. And so we can look back a bit and kind of find a little halfway level. From here to here, right? We can kind of focus on this area, right, guys? Again, you want to look back in time. What comes next through these price levels? This was one huge bar, so we can start to look back a bit. You can see there's a lot of good resistance here. We wicked here, we closed here, we opened here, all right, broke through it, etc. So around here, guys, is a good place to get a little halfway level. So I like to use the most recent. We'll mark that little wick here. Again, we can make it dash so we know. And then let's move back in here. All right, so typically, guys, and again, it's not always perfect, so don't get too obsessed with it, but a good zone will pretty much be close to the same size. So you can just duplicate it. You can see, guys, we're pretty damn close here, just about a point higher. So again, we can come in here, update it. But when there's similar sizes, guys, that's when you know you're on the right path, right? Every zone is going to be different. I could mark this chart up, a few times and have different zones. So something you want to play with, guys, right? Every time you look at a chart, it's going to be a little different, but you're going to find those key levels that don't change. So, right, this looks pretty good, guys. They're the same size. And the, logic behind being the same size, guys, is that, stocks have an ATR. liquidity kind of sits, certain distances away. And that's why, from the biggest point to the biggest point is usually the same size, right? This whole zone, about 50 points. This whole zone, right, about 50 points, guys. Right, and what's ATR? About 67 points. So we can easily, break one huge level and get sent to the other. And that's the point of a zone. So there's an example, guys, of how to build, two. And then here's kind of how we play it and how I, read zones. So here's the key, right? One, we've built them. So now they become triggers. Now, team, here's how my logic behind it, right? I like to play at them. I don't like to play before them, in the middle, etc. So the logic is, right, if this didn't happen, just for example, if we break it, right, I'm looking for this move, right? I'm looking to get halfway first. A stock can easily go halfway, pull back, chill, break it, and then finish the zone, right? So the quote, zone to zone. That's essentially what we're looking for, is from one key to the next key, seeing what happens at the middle, right? Can't expect it to just coast from one to the other. That's why we always find a nice little liquidity level in the middle to base shit off of. Right, guys, so I'm looking for this move. And again, this is the market. So we're going to do a follow-up video to see how these things unfolded, et cetera, keep drilling this. Right, but that's what I'm looking for here, team. Can we continue, right? If we open above 3188 and a half, looking to work towards that 310, 3210 and a half, break it, looking to get to 3231. And based on these zones, guys, right, you'll notice that whenever they break them, let's clear this up. You usually see the move to the other one, right? If we hold this, guys, we're probably going to make that move here. And we're probably going to consolidate for a little bit. And if we break it, we usually don't just go here. We usually make the run towards the next big level, right? Money's running to that liquidity, which was created by those huge wicks. Those are the true buyers and sellers and, creators of levels. So it just goes back and forth to those guys, right? So one step, guys, is, breaking through a zone and getting to the top. And then I chill, right? Then I chill. And then I like to play the break out of a zone, right? So the next play here would be, right, say we close here, right? Now I would just chill. Once we break a zone, looking to push to the next zone, right? So now that becomes the next trade here. We might run and consolidate, right? Perfect. Now the trade again is from here to here, and then here to here, etc. Right? And then we break that 3-3-2-1. I'm expecting it to go from here to there, and then etc. Guys, again. So these kind of become, as you see me say all the time, right? These are triggers, guys. When we break these, I expect it to go here. And we've seen them unfold, time after time, right? To look at an example. Let's go to our zone we've been using this week. Look how clean some of this shit happened, guys. And you've seen it. I don't got to, prove it. All right, great example is Thursday when we're weak. So here's how we can read a good zone, right, team? We built this off some key levels, which we'll continue to build here. We opened above a zone. So we're waiting for two things, right? Here's how we play it. Here's exactly how we play it. And here's how they're so powerful. Right, we broke into a key zone. Nice. We didn't make it halfway. We kind of just consolidated. Continue to hold. So now the question is, guys, no bias. We should break here and go here. If not, right, we should head here and then break and go to the next level, break and go to the next level, and break and go to the next zone, right? Zone to zone. And that's exactly what happened, team. So the context of, okay, we didn't even retest that middle part. We broke here, continue to reject. Then when we fall, team, right, I'm looking to get to the next zone to zone. Just like when we break this 318 and a half, looking to push here. So it works both ways, guys, right? If we get stuck middle and we can't get fully through it, if we roll back out of it, we can go to the next damn zone, which is exactly what happens, most of the time, right? Right back down to the T, 3106. Beautiful drop. And again, these are built on a few other things, which we'll cover here before we end this video. But that's the essence, guys, right? It breaks one huge liquidity level and going to the next. And we use some other key levels to give us some halfway targets. right? We break one point of control, go to the next, we dump down to liquidity, down to another key level, and then we bounce, guys, right? If we broke here, I was expecting it to go here. We never broke. So we, boom, right back, zone to zone team, right back to the next zone. And then we chill, we do it all over again, pretty damn close. And then finally, guys, what happens, right? What happens on Friday? We break into zone. So I say, guys, okay, 3136. We worked our way to our magnet point of control, which you can add to your zones. Through that team, where should we go? Right here. That's exactly where we went to, pretty much to close, and then completing the zone here, team. So that's really, a beautiful example of, top to bottom, full fucking circle. Trying to break, keeps failing, just goes to the next level. Once it breaks, full zone to zone here. And so again, for tomorrow, team, we're looking to hold this and work our way up. And you'll get little key levels, guys, as you go. Like this 31.99 is now a nice little level we can mark. And that's when I add little shit like this, right? Just little things to watch in the middle of zones. So there's an example, team, right? And here's another example of how we can add other things. So, right, you can build zones off of things like point of control. So point of control, guys, a really, really big key level, 31.41, creating the zone with it there. All right, and then just go into the daily chart, guys. And again, just grabbing a key wick. We run, we bounce nicely and haven't retested that. So just grabbing that key wick. And again, you can see the zone we already built is pretty much the same size here, guys, right? That's how you know we got another good key zone. So we can go in here, take a look at a few other things we could add, right? I added a little midway key level here, 31.17, which was a fat wick from 1030 here. Didn't mark this one because it's a little too low, but you can mark it as well if you'd like. Just a halfway level, team. Again, it's just a reference point. Held it. We're now working our way out. So tomorrow, team, right? We got our 2 key zones. We can even add more to this. Look at our moving averages. Perfect. So that 30.17, if you want, we can just drop it to our, call it 31.12, and that's our 15 MA. That's our 21 EMA. Right? So just for example's sake here, right? This would be a great key level, guys, you would want to add into a zone, right? You want to know that 15 MA is there. That's our retracement points. So again, here's a great example. If we continue to reject this key zone, team, if we don't move any higher, we can expect, if it's weak, if the stars align, if ADD rolls, whatever it might be, to head back down, right? First step is at 31.41. If we break their, team, right, again, part of our system and now structured in zones, would be falling to that 15 MA, which is also that 21 EMA killer retracement point. So again, you see what happens here, easily could bounce. But again, it's a bunch of if this, then that. If we break 31.41, I expect the drop to 31.12, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a great example, guys. And again, we'll work on this one into tomorrow, into all week. Do we continue to break out? Can we head towards that 32.31? If we do, guys, we got a massive push, even higher. And then we can go start to pick off our, all-time high, et cetera, et cetera. That's really our key zones for the week, guys. So does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. We got to break here, team. If we do, we can continue to push up towards this key zone. We finally break out of there. We can start to head, right, and take out these next key levels. Huge wick, huge wick, little middle level. All right, guys, we built our roadmap. And again, we got that point of control, got those moving averages. You just want to ask yourself, team, right? It's our roadmap. Where are we going? If we can break here, team, we should head here. It's as simple as that. Watch the little levels. Keep it simple. If we reject here, guys, we should go back to point of control. It's as simple as that. All right, 67 points. Easy, guys. Gets us to where we need to be. And then again, to the upside, 67 points. Gets us to and through that zone. So we could explode tomorrow, team. Right? And then we come in and we add more context. So for example, the context on the market is the squeeze, guys, right? We're in a beautiful daily squeeze, looking ready to fire here. All right, so if we're strong, guys, we should smash the zone. If we smash the zone, we should head to this next zone and start to work towards that 3312, right? Really big level. So again, guys, that's kind of the logic behind it. That's how I structure my key levels, my zones, and it kind of becomes a map where, again, if this, I expect that. Whatever happens here, we could easily reject, come back down, dump to point of control. Anything's possible. But if this happens, I expect it to go there, right? If we break there, I expect it to at least run to here. If we crack here, I expect there, right? Through here, I expect all-time high. So that's when we just sit back to and we collect data and we let the market talk to us, right? We let the market talk to us, just like on Thursday. The market was talking to us. Let's look at it here. All right, market talks, we listen, team. We open above our zone. That's step one. Cool. We break, we can run. Great. We start to look weak here. We got point of control below. We got 5-minute cloud below. We got the zone below. We dump and test it, guys. That's our warning, right? Now we push. Now we're pulling more information. We could easily bottom here and go and rip, right? We bottom. We don't even break cloud. And then we dump our zone, right? So now, okay, the show's on. We're collecting data. We have our roadmap above or below. You ready for anything, team? So here's a great example, right? Throwing on some indicators as well. We don't tap the middle. That's warning sign 1, right? 2, we break the zone real quick and then quickly jump back in, giving us that little H. Reject 5-minute cloud. We dump and we see a nice drop, nice another H, hit our key level, hit our key level, hit our key level, reject it, and then boom, and right at our key zone here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So again, team, it's going to be the same shit this week. Where do we open tomorrow? We might hold this all night, guys, right? We might open on this key zone here. Let's just go to a new chart. We might as well open on that key zone. And if we do, we have our little triggers, right, guys? 3191 should accelerate us to 3210. If we break 3210, we should see 3231. And then we got to ask ourselves, is that realistic? Yes, it's realistic, right? Again, ATR. Right, ATR, 67 points, easy, realistic. So that's pretty much it, family, right? We build our zones, we build them off key levels, we add in things that we can, point of controls, moving averages, you know, any really, really big cloud levels. So sometimes, for example, right, you can add like cloud bottoms. So make sure it makes sense, but use all these tools, team, to really just structure where things going, right? Again, if the market, this is perfect zone here, perfect zone. If we reject here, we can easily fall to 4-hour cloud, which also is point of control, which is also our zone top, right? And then we ask ourselves, if we break it, you know, we'd be breaking 1 through point of control, 2 into our zone, 3 into 4-hour cloud. And then boom, we can easily see that 15 MA, and then we can easily, you know, break that zone and break that cloud. Right, so here's a good example of, you know, using that cloud top zone with that zone. Do we bounce? Definitely possible. But again, if we dump it, we're breaking into numerous things. Where should we see it? Right to our next magnet, 3112. Dope. Do we bounce? If we do, right, we can head right back up, right to that key zone. So yeah, guys, not going to continue to beat this like a dead horse, but let's see, any questions here? Penzi, more Wix based than cloud, right? Correct. The cloud's kind of just a filler where I build my zones and then I go look at the cloud. And here's a great example of where the cloud would, you know, be so powerful. Is this a key zone now? 1, it's point of control. 2, it's that 4-hour cloud. If we see that fade, guys, we should bounce. And then we know if we're breaking into it, magnet becomes cannon, 4-hour cloud is bad, drop us to our next key level, key zones, etc. Where do you get ATR from? So I get ATR from the daily chart. If you guys like, if you're on Thinkorswim, you can add it to your focus list. All you do is go to customize. Right, all you're gonna do is search ATR. Right, it's gonna be there. You're gonna add it, and then you're just gonna make sure it's on aggregation of daily. So that, guys, gives you, the average true range on a daily basis, right? On a daily basis, we should move or could move 67 points in either direction. That's a good way to kind of check your zones, see what's possible, set some targets. Let's see. So these are levels you play SPX with too. Correct, Cree. Right, so tomorrow, team, we got SPX. We'll see where in the morning, but say we open right here. Right, if we start to dump this zone, guys, ADD starts to roll over, right? I'm looking for puts down towards here. I'm looking to short this thing, down towards here. And then I just play SPX accordingly. So it's really, if we hold this zone and start to smash, right, you can buy SPX calls, looking for the zone to hold to continue to pick off that zone. So yeah, these are the zones I play on SPX. Now you're good, Cree. I went up. Pendy stacking cats, yes sir. So the only problem right now, guys, is a lot of names are all-time high. So it's a little hard to build zones, but it's actually a good example, a good learning lesson. So built a little zone here in Apple just to talk about. Right, guys, so obviously we had that crazy wick on, what was that, Thursday. So we got to mark the wick, as stupid as it is. All-time high, guys, is really, right around here, 385-ish, pre-market high, a little higher. So all I'm doing, guys, is creating an inflection level of 386, calling it our all-time high. Whenever you're all-time high, team, one of the best things to do is to look at the chain and see where they might want it, right? These can help you set really good targets when there's nothing, coming on a daily chart. Again, we're at all-time high. So we just need to pull information of where they might want it. So for an example here, Apple 390s, we're at 11,000. That's really good volume. So again, if we break through all-time highs, I don't really consider that all-time high, but we do need to keep an eye on it. I expect us to go to 390. So you can see, guys, created kind of a fat zone here with 390 being a nice little level of interest as our halfway zone. So if Apple, guys, tomorrow breaks 386, right, given its ATR of 8 points, that's our inflection, that's our target, that's our next target of about 8 points. So we can pretty much work to clear that zone, guys. And then, again, because we don't have any targets here with an all-time high, 400, guys, a nice level of interest. Once we break this 393, so say we make this full move, this full ATR, right, say we open right here. Right now, the inflection point would be here. Our target would be 400, right? Another 8 points, guys, boom, gets us there perfectly. So here's a great example of, a zone, fitting an ATR, fitting these clear targets, and how to structure them at all-time high. So it becomes a little tricky, team, with all-time high. So like look at NVIDIA, for example. Right, so we have all-time high. Right, so the first one we ask ourselves is how far can we actually go on a normal day? We can run about 13 points. So 13 points, guys, 12 points gets us near 432-ish. Let's look at the ATR, the chain. Right, 425 hit, which we're already there. 430 hit. It's not bad. And then 440. All right, guys, so what you can do is you can set, a zone with the 330. You can set it with the ATR. Right, so we can set this zone at 432. And then set that 430 as a little halfway level if you'd like. Right, I'm just kind of making this really messy and quick, just to give an example of what a zone from all-time high could look like. But the main point is, you want to find those inflection levels, guys, at all-time high and just kind of let it ride. So there's a time and place to create zones, team. You don't always need a zone. Right, another great example is NVIDIA to the downside. When we were here, team, I really didn't have any zones because, again, you got to ask yourself the question, if this, then that. right? If we break here, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen, right? There was no clear target at all. But what we did know, team, was if we broke all-time high, right, they were hitting 400 like crazy beginning of the week. So that became a beautiful zone, right? That's how you stay out of chop. I'm going to wait until this thing, actually breaks its range, create a nice little range, chill. The day it finally broke, guys, again, we look at the chain, we find what works. They wanted to go to 400. Right, NVIDIA, a little sloppy bitch, but as soon as it breaks it, guys, and closes it, you can take a shot at those 400s. ATR, 12 points, right? Pretty much full zone, and it ended up making it, guys, in 2 days. So just a little example here. I know it's not too clear, but hope that makes a little sense. So yeah, guys, most names are at all-time highs right now. So again, it's going to be hard to build some zones. Tesla, all-time highs, Shop, NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Baba, Netflix, literally all at all-time highs. So we'll give a great example of a zone that unfolded on Friday to the T. Right? So a good zone, guys, will always be gap fills. Right? We look at Roku. Right? We had a big day. We ask ourselves what's coming next. Obviously this, guys, right? Obviously 151.20 is a massive level. Right? We reach it and we completely die. We come up, we don't even reach it. We don't even reach it. So you got to expect once you reach it, if you break it, this thing can explode. Right? So now we ask ourselves, where can this thing explode to? We had a quick little level above it as a gap fill trigger. Right? So this became our gap fill kind of trigger zone. Does that make sense, team? And again, here's a basic textbook zone where it's very simple. You identify the inflection points, guys, right? If we smash the zone, team, where should we run to? We should fill the trigger, right? We should fill the gap. What did Roku do? Right, guys, that's why I say wait for triggers. Wait for triggers. As soon as this thing broke, right, our zone, we can expect it to run to the next level, which it did. And then once it can break it, we can expect it to go to the next level. So broke it, right, made it, retested it, held it, and then finally broke it, held, and then ran right to a team. So there's just like a classic example that, once it breaks this key zone, you put on those calls, right, 160, whatever it may be, looking for it to clear it just like it did, right? And then it came all the way back down, guys, and held it and continues to hold it. So these big levels will always come back to play. Another good example is Tesla. Right, inflection points, guys, inflection points. We've been waiting for one thing this week. We've had a fat zone. We had this key level here. All right, sometimes, guys, zones are fat as hell. So we had 1437, right? We waited for 1437 all week. And again, guys, this is how it keeps out of trouble. What's the inflection point here on Tesla? 1437. There's no need to touch it, guys, right? If it breaks here, if it breaks here, it can fail. Right? So again, this is how zones can keep you out of trouble. Wait, right? What's the biggest, most important point? It's that wick, that last cent it stopped, that 1437. We were watching 1437, guys. We knew it could run towards 1500 given the chain. So that became our chunky zone, guys, on Tesla. All right, again, some zones are chunky. So this was our key zone. All right, so just to make it look pretty. And guys, this was worth the wait. Right, this was worth the wait. And again, we can add context to our zones. We had a 4-hour squeeze. Once we finally break, we should expect it to explode. We had an hourly squeeze. Once it breaks, we should expect it to explode. So literally, guys, as soon as Tesla broke that 1437, what did we do on Friday, team? We played it all the way to our target. All the way, right? Perfect, zone to zone. And then, right, we play through it. That's how you play zones, guys. Zone entry, zone top, and then you play out of it to the next key. Right, Tesla guys are expected to go about 50 points. So again, an all-time high, looking for 1550. Right, 1550. And then just for example here, boom, boom, ran to 1550. So there's another classic example, guys, of just a key zone that are worth waiting for. Right, I didn't touch Tesla, guys, all week. I didn't touch it all week. I waited. And as soon as it broke my zone, right, you're going to learn to trust zones. They're massive triggers. I played it all the way to 1500, guys. Fucking crushed this trade. And again, I waited for this trade all week. And then it finally paid off. So zones, guys, really keep you out of trouble. And they give you that context of where it could go. And then you pretty much play it from there. Right? This thing never pulled back, team. It just kept going. Right? Explodes, pull back, explodes, pull back, chop a little bit, gears up for 1500, and then just goes. Gone. So there's another great example, team. A zone this week, we're focusing on Shopify, is going to be huge. Right, here's another key zone. Point of control, guys. Well, move down, so whatever. Anyway, had point of control, guys, at 1040. Again, it's a little lower here, so it doesn't matter. We have our inflection point for shop. Right, so as soon as they can clear 1060, team, right, no reason to touch shop, no reason to touch shop if and when it can make this move. We've been stalking 1100. It's been hit on the chain numerous weeks, just continues to see it, right? 1600 on Friday. We're looking for the break, guys. So whenever it breaks 1060, we're looking for that push, just like Tesla did, right? 42-point ATR, 42 points away. Very, very realistic, right? So what's the context? That's all-time high, guys. That's a big level. We might not ever break it, but if we do break it, we should push to 1100. It's as simple as that, guys. That's how stocks work. They explode from big levels to the next big liquidity level. So yeah, team, that's about it for, I guess we'll call it day one of zone training. We built a really good zone here in the market. Again, big daily levels, big triggers, throwing in some nice liquidity, right? With some big clouds, just helping, right? 4-hour cloud all week, guys. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is pretty much our key zone here. So great way to add, all of our tools into one team. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Other than that, I'm going to wrap up zone training and we'll dig into some prep. Now's the time to ask questions, team. All right, looks like no questions. We got Pendy one. What differentiates dashed lines from solid lines? So Pendy, for me, it's really just a visual, brother. I like to make my key triggers, solid lines. And then I use my fill-in lines as kind of dashed. It's really nothing important. More of just, again, a visual aspect. Yeah, team, looks like no questions here. So y'all know where to find me. This is zone training. And again, guys, do what you'd like with them. Like, for example, I know Michael, right, sells most of the time. So if we come down, guys, and hold this zone, or say we break this zone and then bottom, right? We do a perfect zone to zone and then push. Or you can sell a put spread, guys, expecting it to at least run back to this zone if it holds. Or right, if we break this zone, do whatever you got to do. But it just gives that roadmap, team, and it gives you that structure where the big boys are going to step in, right? That's the way I've always approached is where's big money going to step in, guys? When you look at a daily chart, right, big money created this level. Like 31.88.5 was the line for a reason. Did not go any higher for a reason. So as soon as we can push through it, we're going to explode, right? We're gone. They lose. There's enough energy to finally get through it, right? We tried and failed. We crept up. We haven't been ready. So as soon as we're ready, team, which boom, looks like we might be ready, plus the daily squeeze, we can see an epic move this week, guys. Epic move. And it's going to start by clearing this key zone. We clear this zone, right? We break that 3-2-3-1. Oh my, right? This is the start, right? This is baby rippy mode. We break that guy's monster rippy mode. Because again, what's the context? We ran for months and then topped out exactly right there. Exactly right there. That's what I love about it, guys, right? That's the exact price point. Did not go any higher, has not gone any higher. So as soon as we break a team, goodbye. It's as simple as that. And now you add the squeeze, add context, whatever, text going, whatever it might be. We're making a trip towards these. Kind of like when we watch a good breakout, guys. We're just taking out, sellers on the tape, one level at a time. Right? We take out this wick, boom, we're going to this. We take out that 33.12, guys, we're going to explode. Because again, what's the context of that level? Gap down, biggest sell-off we've seen in, almost history. We take that out, team, we're making a run for all-time high. Because these are all little bullshit levels. You want to ask yourself, what are the biggest levels, right? That's the biggest level. That's the biggest level. It's as simple as that. We break that 3-3-1-2, guys, we're gunning for all-time high. Obviously, there's shit to pay attention to on the way, but it gives you that sense, guys, that it's fucking showtime. It's showtime. All right, so last time here, guys, for this week, right? This is showtime for us. Breaking this 3188 is showtime. It's gonna get epic, right? We've been trying to even, where's the one been using all week? We just been trying, team, right? We've been waiting, just range bound. Right? It took us a while to finally break through here. We went up to a complete fail. We broke through it. We dumped through it. Now finally just cracking out of here, guys. So I'm so excited for this week. The daily squeeze is firing. We're breaking a huge zone. I expect runner. So let's see here. Questions. So does it have to be with those specific EMAs, or can we customize for a preference? So yeah, brother, just based on your preference, right? It's based on your system. So, my system and what I share. What I share in here, guys, is just these things. Right? If you use something else, incorporate it. Excuse me. Or if it makes sense to you, it's part of your game, start to build key levels off of it. Again, I just encourage you guys to make sure you're building key levels off of important things. Right? That's what makes zones so powerful, is you build them off the right shit. If you build them off just anything, then you're getting back to, the meaningless levels, where every little key level's on your chart. What does this mean? You want to get to a point, guys, where when your levels break, you trust them, right? Holy shit, Tesla's finally breaking 1437, right? Holy shit, it's showtime. It's not just a little level, team. So I recommend whatever your system is, whether it's, the system we teach, or if you have a little tweak, just make sure it's, important. Make sure you've back tested it. Make sure it's strong. Yeah, Colin, exactly, brother. Exactly. So, a great example would be, right, shorting here. Right? Well, our first short wants to get initiated here, expecting it to go here. Right? And then from there, brother, we got to be patient. If we bounce, well, then shit, we're going zone to zone. If we break, we're completing the zone. So that's really, guys, when you see me play SPX, you see me play ES, we just wait. We wait. It's if this, then that, right? If we can break here, we can go higher. Okay, well, if we don't, and if we break here, we're going here. And that's exactly what happened. So again, we're going to do this all over tomorrow, team, and all day every week. And I'm going to make, some follow-up videos for this. But we gapped up. Do we hold? So far, we're holding. Do we hold overnight? Do we continue to push towards our next key levels? That's the map. We'll have a map every day. Every name has a map. And that's when trading gets easy, guys, is you learn to trust your map, and then you just strike from there. And then probability plays out, and you do your thing. Pendy, with these key levels, are there also points you size out or roll? Yes, great question, homie. Great question. So example, guys, we'll just keep using this day because it was a perfect zone to zone. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. Great question, Pendy. So for me, team, right, they become targets where, you scale out, you scale in, whatever it may be. For me, I go in with full size, so I'm usually just, scaling out. If I, scalp, whatever it may be, I'll look to add. So here's a great example, right? We break here, guys. As soon as we make it to 31.41, 31.37, I'm looking to cut puts, right? I'm looking to trim some puts. If you're not in, you can look to add, right? Looking to get to 31.21. When we get to 31.21, I'm looking to take profit again. I'm looking to trim, right? We get to it, we break it, we fuck around it again, and then we finally dump, guys. We dump again, locking more, pretty much looking, because it's zone to zone, to finish the trade, right? Anything extra is just crazy. It can go, but again, we want to methodically start to, take profits as we go from one zone to another. From zone to halfway, you want to look to trim, and then through it, you want to look to have that kind of be your, final target. Then you can add more through there, et cetera, et cetera. So just to finish this example, right? We start the trade here, team. We get that first test, we get that roll. Okay, it's over. Boom, we're in. Locking some, right? Locking some. Goes up, continues, trade over, right? And then boom, you can see perfect lock. Move over. If you want to switch to put calls, go for it. Right? You made it all the way back before the day ended. Absolutely crazy. And then you switch to puts. Boom. But yeah, team, that's kind of, again, how we play them and then where we want to lock. Right? It's like the market. We break. You want to see what happens at 31.72. And so from there, you want to manage your account, team. You can reposition, you can lock in, you can add more, but you want to pay attention because we can easily, again, hit that and fall back. So the way you structure your zone, guys, learn to trust them, learn to play off of them, and they'll get stronger and stronger and stronger. So looks like that's about it for questions, team. So hope you enjoyed this, guys. Again, this is part one of a few planned parts. If you have any questions at all, just ask me in the chat, but I'm going to stop this recording.